Right, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of Word on the Air. Corey Gilmore, got my partners in here. Lauren Jones, Randy Anderson.
Hola, hola.
Everything going.
I'm
All
back.
right. So I see the title. I know a couple days ago, the outcome to the Breonna Taylor situation. It came out. The officers would not be charged. People were looking for an indictment. It came out that the officers would not be charged or anything. And so, in subsequent days, matter of fact, let's go up to the days leading before that. The days before that, pretty much knew that this was something that was about to come down the pipeline because they had the whole city. There was a state of emergency issued in Louisville. They had the city blocked off. Had different parts of the city blocked out. All the federal buildings closed. The police weren't allowed to go on vacation. So we pretty much knew where this was going. And so, and since then it's been a fair amount of mayhem. Now I haven't been keeping up with everything that's been going down in Louisville since, I've been seeing, I saw 2 officers were shot. I saw today that a car had plowed into the protesters. So you're getting the mayhem and the back and forth and the, bunch of silly shit. So let's get into it. The question is, what do y'all think? What do y'all think about this, the outcome, the verdict that they wouldn't charge the officers? Was it unfair? Or was it justified? And give your reasons.
Go ahead, Lauren.
I don't hear you, Lauren.
Go ahead, Randy. Go ahead.
I'll be honest with you. Full transparency, I really didn't expect anything to happen. To be honest with you.
Why?
Because we've seen them try to cover up. We've seen them honestly cover up everything, or attempt to cover stuff up. You know what I'm saying? And all that backfired. And you knew that they were going to find some way, somehow to use the blue wall of silence to help them out. In which they did do that, because 3 of the officers are no charges have been placed on those 3 officers.
Oh, my fault. There was a lesser charge on one of the officers, and forgive me for not having the direct details on which officers it was. I know the officers were Hankinson, Mattingly, and I forget the third one, but one of them was
Barney.
Huh? Said Barney.
Barney.
Said Barney. You a damn fool. They were charged on a lesser charge for, I guess, reckless endangerment because some bullets went through the walls and into other apartments. So, but go ahead, finish, Randy.
I mean, honestly, that's for real it, and it sounds messed up that I truly, you know what I'm saying? It sounds messed up that I'm saying that, but it's just like, this is the world that we live in, dog. So it's just like, all right, okay. I mean, honestly, I figured when they came out with the amount of money that they what's the name with the family, I felt like they felt that was good enough to shut everybody up on social media when this happened, because I'm pretty sure they had all of this stuff pretty much planned out to where the week before they talk about the settlement with $12 million settlement for her life. And then they roll out with this, you know what I'm saying? They already knew what was going on, but they needed something. They needed something to quiet up the people. Like, okay, $12 million, that's going to quiet everybody up. So, but that's what I just think.
Hey,
go ahead.
Life insurance don't pay out $12 million.
But that I forgot what her name is, but it's some lady that was killed by police officers. Like, her family got $55 million for her death.
Yeah, so, I saw that. That was the lady that we were talking about before, the lady up in Minneapolis, the white lady that ran up on the officer, and he shot her. She was the one that actually called the police.
Right.
Yeah, I think there might need for a situation like that, there might have to be more of a different type of barometer because you know we'll get into more reasons why with that. And it could be racism. Who knows? I mean, I'm not gonna say necessarily racism, but nepotism or something like that, or advantage. Because of the skin color, you never know. Because they they look at most of the people in the higher positions are white people, so they're gonna see someone of their own. Someone looks like their daughter that may affect a decision. I'm only throwing that out there just to throw a possibility, but at the same time, she actually called the police. She had a gripe. She called the police and ran to them to get their help, and they shot through the window and shot her. So it's not necessarily the same.
It's not necessarily the same, but
it's not the same situation as Breonna Taylor.
no, yeah. I understand it's not the same situation, but what am I trying to say? When it comes to the fact to where we didn't find out till later on, that's what the price was. We found out a week before they announced what the police officers' charges are.
Oh, you talking about the actual? So you're not talking about the case, but you're talking about the actual outcome and the charges.
Right, yeah.
Oh well, because they know what's gonna go on. Like they're not gonna come out and say what it is before. Like it wasn't like it was a news cycle or something that was put out to the news. Like they went through the process. Now they didn't go through the proceedings of having to being prosecuted and going through the grand jury, but they didn't even let it get to that point. So it was whenever the court data was, whenever they were going to make their decision, that's when it was. They show up at the courthouse and then they make that decision. And now everything gets distributed, all the different news. So they didn't wait. We just kind of see, we saw where this was going before. We saw this was going before the verdict was about to drop down.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Lauren.
Yeah. So, I guess we should have asked this question a while ago. And Corey, you'll recognize this statement. Are y'all ready for a non-guilty verdict or no verdict at all? In this case, I mean, you got some lesser charges, but when you murder two people, I mean, is that obviously we weren't ready for it. You could tell by the outrage that we still weren't ready for it.
Well, they didn't murder two people. They involved two people, but shot back, and he was exonerated as he should have been. He was exonerated on that.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a tough one. I mean, it really, really is. When you look at it from the lens of non-law, yeah, it seems pretty cut and dry. Yeah. But when you introduce law to it, that's when you really start to say, wait a minute, do we even have a case here? When you talk about the no-knock warrant law that they have, when you talk about the stand your ground law, which is why those officers were able to fire back, because somebody else from the other side, it don't matter who fired first, somebody from the other side fired at some point.
Well, I don't even think I don't even think that's necessarily even I don't even think that's necessarily stand your ground law. I think that's just,
at that point, if he's firing at the cops, they can escalate it to that next level.
Yeah, it's escalated to the next level. That's
under the eyes of law enforcement.
That's something that will be put into the police protocol and the police laws within that state. But not only that, but for or if it's a self-defense law within another state or something, because stand your ground laws, those laws go a little bit deeper. Those go into like imminent threat, regardless if there's a gun or something where you feel like your physical, you have a physical threat that's about to, that's on you. So, you stand your ground.
Okay. So, okay. All right. So from everything I've read and everything I've heard, there was a no-knock warrant where they bust down, they knocked on the door. The couple, the dude, he asked who it was. Nobody answered, and then you know what I'm saying, they bust down the door. He shot a warning shot. Now, I'm just going off of the stuff that I read and the stuff that I've heard. You know what I'm saying? He shot a warning shot, and then when that warning shot went off, he didn't know that those were cops. He just thought it was somebody trying to break into his house. And as a human being, if somebody's trying to break in my house and I shoot off a warning shot and they shoot back, I'm busting. I don't care who I hit. I'll be honest with you. But you know what I'm saying? Like, how what I'm trying to say is how is he at fault for not knowing that?
That's the thing. That's the thing.
For them not saying that they're police officers. They were quiet.
They don't have to.
That's the thing. Everybody's speaking as if, and y'all see me leaning over. It's not showing in the screen, but I got my microphone in there. I probably need a taller stand so it can look more professional. Got me leaning over, so y'all wondering what the hell I'm doing. But he was exonerated. He shouldn't have been arrested in the first place, but he was exonerated because he you know what I'm saying, he held down. It was self-defense in his private property, and there's no way he can identify, you know, no way he can identify what it is, especially, you know, if there's no proof. You also saw there was two different, because there was different witnesses. There was witnesses there that said that the police did not announce themselves. And then also there was witnesses
they did. Or a witness. A witness.
Okay. So
multiple a witness said that they heard them announce themselves.
Yeah. So they said they heard them announce themselves. And so we don't know, you know, what that exchange was. We don't know if who exactly fired the first shot. You would probably think, but like you said, we don't know. We know there's corrupt officers. We know officers can be on bullshit. But if you think in the I don't even want to say ideal manner, but just try to place yourself there, what would be the point for the officer coming in and shooting all of a sudden, just shooting right off the bat? You know what I'm saying? Think of what I'm saying. Just bust in the door and just start shooting. Not saying that doesn't happen. I'm pretty sure that's happened from corrupt officers, especially if an officer's going in the place they know it's a drug spot, so they going in there to get some shit. And they just say, hey, he shot back, and I'm going to he shot back and this and that. And they going in there and trying to, you know, make an arrest. But even with that would still be a violation, because they would have to prove themselves per, who gives a fuck what the city says in this point. They would have to prove themselves per Constitution, per Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, that you had a proper warrant to even be there within the first place. But if nobody contests that, then it's all gonna slide away. It's all gonna slide away. Are y'all following what I'm saying?
Yep.
So yeah. So why would the officer shoot in the first place? You know, this is just things we don't know what happened there. These are just things that you gotta ask yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Which is another issue.
Yeah.
Another issue.
Yeah.
The fact that we don't know what happened is another issue.
Exactly. We don't know what happened, and think about that, because we're wanting. You want to finish? I know we cut you off. You want to finish, Lauren? Because I'm gonna get into what it is here in a second. But you want to keep going?
Nah, let's dive. Let's go. Let's dive.
Okay. So this is the problem, and this is exposing this whole year. This whole entire 2020 years exposed everything that's wrong with American culture and our dependency on, we rely on the news, which has been infiltrated by the U.S. government per law, actual law that shows that it's actually infiltrated by the U.S. government. So we put all our eggs into one basket without actually using our own brain in these situations.
Now, when you say the news, When you say the news, are you really referring to mainstream media?
Mainstream media.
Okay.
Because people like us, you know what I'm saying, and they're shit. Hell, we could even be bought off. But like I said, see, what we're talking about and what I'm going to get into is accountability upon each other. Accountability is now you have to confirm what we're saying. Don't just sit up there and believe what we're saying just off the fact because we tell you to believe me. You have to confirm what we're saying. So, and that's the problem. And that's part of the problem. So we're going off of these things and we're letting them throw us into these emotional rages and we have anxiety, start getting depressed. We don't want to go to work and it just starts getting heavy on us because we feel so damn hopeless. Like, oh, it's just, it's the worst shit ever. Let's look at this shit about Breonna Taylor. I told people for the longest, I've kept saying this. There was no way these cops were going to get arrested. There was no way these cops were going to get arrested. And if they had been arrested, that would have been a red flag. And I know a lot of people are going to look like, what? Because you're too emotional. See, you have to have foresight. A lot of people are too damn nearsighted. You have to have foresight in these situations. Because what standard would that set if they had been arrested? Reason why. We do all of this, saying all these phrases, going out in the street, say her name, this and that. But who's out there speaking on, how about y'all save that? Because y'all have the world's eye on y'all. So why don't y'all attack the laws that have been put in place? You made some progress because you got that, and this is in that specific city. Every city is broken down into its own sovereignty per the 10th Amendment. Per the 10th Amendment, it's broken down into this own sovereignty. So you blaming Trump or this person or that person, and deal with your state representative, your state senator, and your city mayor. It's broken down into its own sovereignty. So you have to attack those laws. You got the no-knock warrant implemented. You got that implemented. That's what had to happen because it wasn't on there before. It was no knock. There was a no knock. There's plenty of cities. I think they still got that in Kansas City. There's plenty of niggas I know that then had their stuff kicked in just all of a sudden, and cats getting rounded up because they had nothing to do with it. They just in the spot. But it was a place that had been watched. A warrant had been served there, and now boom, now they just coming kicking in out of nowhere. If you're not privy to these things, if you're not at your city hall, if you're not following what's going on in your law book, and it's a collective effort because most people can't do it by themselves. Nobody has the time. These law books are thick. There's a whole bunch of shit on your city law, but they're on your state websites. You have to go in there and you have to examine these things, and it has to be a collective effort, and y'all have to have these talks. If this shit matters to you, like y'all say it does, if this shit matters to you, if it's a priority, you can still have your fun and games. You can still go watch your NFL football on Sunday. You can still watch your stupid soap operas, whatever the fuck it is, Housewives, listen to your silly ass music, go to the club, do all this shit, play your fucking PS5, do whatever the fuck, pop your pills. But will you be there? Will you be there at City Hall? Will you be there addressing the issues and addressing it in an effective manner? Calling out the laws, saying, hey, this needs to be changed specifically. This needs to
ain't
be changed.
Ain't nobody at the club studying my books.
Yeah. Think about it. Because what are you gonna, just going off of what we have from the surface, and if anybody has any objections, raise them. But let's go off the law itself. From what I know, there's no law that holds the police in Louisville. That doesn't go for any other state. So don't be in Kansas City or somewhere else. And I don't even know what exactly is in Kansas City right now, but don't go somewhere else and saying, oh, that's not what it is. No, that's in your city. in Louisville, it is not, they don't get held responsible for not having the body cam on. You can get fired for not having your body camera on, which is what happened to the officers. They got fired. They did not have their body cam. They did not have their body cam operated. But now it's up to y'all. Now y'all have to go. Y'all can't say, hey, let's get this changed. We need this change. And then go back and arrest the officers. What type of precedent would that set? What type of precedent would that set? So now what if they start doing stupid shit like that, having double jeopardy and different things like that for you as the citizen? And y'all weak asses ain't even realized that the power is in your hands. The power is in your hands. You implement the laws. This is your house. This is your motherfucking house. And if shit ain't right, let me put it to you like this. Let's go from traditional method with women. Imagine a woman. Women typically they let the man lead the house, right, fellas?
It's about to be a hot button issue, but yes.
yeah. They typically, traditionally, they let the man read the house, do what he got to do, this and that. They'll tend to the house, and it's traditionally man's got the final say. The final say on different things. Women speak first, man's got the final say. The woman has to agree to that. It's not no, hey, that's just the way it is. There has to be a mutual agreement between the two parties. So it's not like, just a dictatorship and shit like that. It's a mutual agreement. So the woman says, hey, so go ahead, lead. And it's your call. We'll make your calls and different things like that. Let's say the man starts breaking the agreement. They have different guidelines, different things of how they want to do things. He starts giving her guidelines because she gave him the authority. She gave them authority, a mutual agreement for the authority. Listen to what the hell I'm saying. He starts breaking the different agreements and the different protocols and the different ways that they have their household is set up and the different things that they abide by within their particular household. What should be our next step? What would be our next step?
I mean, you got to have another conversation.
What would be your next step, Randy?
I would say the same thing. It would have to be another conversation before
conversation.
Okay, yeah.
But imagine she just said she don't like what's going on, and she just said, "Fuck it, I'm out." Just at the first go round, or no, not No, I'm not even gonna say the first go round. Let's say this has been happening for a long time, just like for 400 years, this and that. You know what I'm saying? We'll say it's been happening for a while. And she just up and say, fuck it, I'm gone. Fuck it, I'm gone. Now she has every right to do that. But do you think that's fair? People make errors.
So you're saying that this has been happening for an extended period of time, but she hasn't said anything?
Hasn't said a damn thing.
Okay, yeah. Then I'm not saying that. I mean, you're right. She's entitled to do whatever she chooses to do.
Let's just burn the house down now.
But if she understands the value of a relationship, not that particular, but any relationship, that number one, nobody's going to do you right 100% of the time. Number two, in a real relationship, when there's issues, you have to talk about the issues.
Yeah, you have to talk about it. But you don't just go. You have to figure out where his head is because you don't know what it is. Your politicians, you don't know what it is. If we see at times we don't know if they're doing this on purpose or they just don't know. Reason being because we talk to people, and a lot of times these people don't know because it's been an ongoing cycle on different things. So you have to have those conversations to get that understanding of what you're dealing with at the moment. Somebody could just be going and they just kind of lost themselves within the process. But if she just go sit up there and just burn shit, just like, hey, I'm gonna burn this house down. Whatever it be, split up, whatever they could be the metaphor of we splitting up, divorce, taking the kids, this and that, or literally burning the damn house down. And there ain't been no conversation. That's what y'all dealing with right now. Y'all have not had the conversation. If anything, you know, imagine she just going around saying, I matter. He's like, what the fuck does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? I matter. What the fuck does that mean? You have to be specific, but you have to know your damn law. You are in a relationship with your damn senators, man. You are in a damn, this thing's going crazy. You are in a relationship with these are the people, you're under the guise, I'm gonna say guys, but y'all say this is a democracy, right? Y'all say this is a democracy. So treat it as a damn democracy. And at the very least, let the system expose itself. But you're not exhausting all lanes. If you want to sit up there and get to the point, and now we say, hey, we've had these conversations, we wanted this change, and you've got to make a viable argument for your shit. You can't it just can't be I want this, and it's not thought out, because you may be shooting yourself in the foot by asking for these things. You're not looking at it from both sides. So it's got to be a real good argument. And then exercise your democracy. Have everybody, so you can have understanding. You have the ears. There's a lot of white folks that aren't listening. They're like, fuck you niggas is out here crying, this and that. But you got the ears of a lot, and they're following y'all lead. But the problem is, y'all ain't saying shit. So they out there saying the same ain't shit that y'all saying. They out there saying the same things. Y'all are going nowhere. Y'all will be saying the same shit 60 years from now. The same goddamn things, because you won't even do the simple things. Get the practical things. Get your ass up and handle your business. Have specific demands. Look at your law book. Look at what needs to be changed. Look at the laws that give your police immunity. That's what they did. That's what they did in this Breonna Taylor situation. That's why they got the no-knock warrants out the way. Now you have to keep it a step forward. Keep going. Don't sit up there and lose. Don't sit there and lose focus. And now it's not a priority anymore, because you're trying to prevent it from happening to the next person. You can't get full justice. Breonna Taylor is not coming back. Breonna Taylor is not coming back. You have to prevent another situation from another Breonna Taylor. Somebody else, whether man or woman. You have to prevent these things. If you don't do nothing, you can't fucking complain, because they're your laws. That's what y'all people lack responsibility in everything that y'all do. They are your laws that you have. I don't care if your government goes in there and sneaks them in the books overnight. Then you go in there and you check that shit and make sure they get it the fuck up out of there. And if they don't listen, then you got to take it to the next level. But if you ain't exhausted that, man, what the fuck? What type of precedent? You talking about building a free city? Power corrupts people. That's anybody. Power, absolute power corrupts. And if you're talking about building a free city, then what the fuck are you gonna do when you get to the free city? When you can't even deal with what you got here. Y'all here talking about this and that, oppression, this and that. Y'all not building on nothing. Y'all gone hopeless because you're not even building on what the fuck you got. A lot of fucking countries can't even fucking sit on the internet and talk their opinion and talk about how fucked up the government is. Because the second they do that shit, it'll be the Gestapo running through their goddamn front door.
Hey, China.
Huh? Like China. Exactly like China. Australia, you see what's happening in Australia. They tried to use Australia as a model of what America should be like. Been talking about, oh, there's no guns and we haven't had mass shootings and shit like that. Like I've said, I'll choose dangerous freedom over safe slavery any day of the week. People are gonna make mistakes, but it has to be that there's different things that have to be put in place. But you got to understand, you got to there one way has a ceiling, and the other way is infinite possibilities. Now you see what's happening in Australia. That shit is like that is 1984, the book being played out. That's some New World Order type shit being played out over there in Australia. But y'all not getting it. Y'all are not getting it, man. So, y'all gotta wake the fuck up, man. Jump in. Y'all gotta wake the fuck up, man.
Let me go ahead and jump in. So, first and foremost, I want to be respectful of the Taylor family. My condolences for the loss of your loved one. Very, very tragic death. Regardless of how you want to spin it, I think it is. I will say I think it's extremely sad that the only reason that any charges were brought up because bullets went into other buildings. I think that is a issue in our system, because I'll just leave it at that. So as far as the cases involved, I mean, God, we talked about this at nauseum, just within our own circle, that we assumed that nothing was going to happen to those officers. Just as soon as it came out that there was a no knock warrant law, I mean, that made it an uphill battle at that point. You knew you were going to have to attack something different if you were going to be able to find anything that you could charge the officers for. I'll echo what you said, where there's no true justice for Breonna Taylor, and so we have to be mindful of the words that we use. Now, that family and everybody that loved her, they deserve closure. They deserve closure on Breonna's death. But when you're talking about justice, number one, that term is used extremely loosely these days. We want justice for everybody, right? But when you're talking about somebody that's deceased, those people and those families don't get justice. The best they can get is closure. That's the best they can get is closure. So, we like to use a lot of hashtags and a lot of catchphrases when things like this happen, and we have to be extremely careful because you can only bring so much awareness without action. For it will have no effect. You have to have action behind your awareness. Just like Corey stated earlier, bringing awareness is a good thing, but relying on that awareness to be the end goal is where the failure comes in. Understanding your law, is extremely valuable to any citizen. You had these politicians in these seats, and whether they're good politicians or bad politicians, the majority of them understand the laws. They may not be able to regurgitate it back to you, but they understand it in a way that they know what protections that they have. You have police departments that are protected by police unions. So even if this goes to trial, those police unions are in place in a lot of ways to protect those officers. Mm-hmm. And so they were going to fight tooth and nail.
Gotta get rid of police unions.
For those officers to be charged with anything. The police unions are extremely corrupt. Their duty is to protect officers. And so, everybody's saying F the police. Do that all you want. The police aren't going away. The police aren't going away. You need to address the unions. When you talk about the factors that led to the death of Breonna Taylor, address those factors. Address those factors. You wearing Breonna Taylor's face on a t-shirt, that brings awareness, and that's great. But what are you gonna do after that? Because what about little Bree Bree? What about little Bree Bree? The same thing is not can. The same thing is more likely to happen to her because we haven't really addressed the real issues. All we've been doing is rioting in the streets. How many of you people out here that are posting on social media? How many of y'all have been to a city council meeting? How many of y'all even know where your city hall building is?
How many of y'all have actually read the laws within your city?
Yeah, how many?
So you
how
can
many
know
you
what. So you can know what to argue and what you can know what needs to be revised and changed.
Or there's an or to this, and I want to be very clear about the or because I did really truly think about this today. The or is you elect or appoint whatever term you want to use. You elect or appoint the right representatives. You know, this is where when I speak of voting, when I say everybody should be voting, is because of situations like this. You know, if you vote somebody in office and they lay out everything that they said they were going to do, and near the end of their term or when they're looking for re-election, you need to go back and evaluate those words. You need to say, wait a minute, you said you was going to do this, and this, and you didn't do any of it. So at least explain to me when you're running for re-election the progress that you've made, because maybe it just hasn't been enough time for you to do everything that you said you were going to do. But if I can't see progress, why should I vote you back in office? That is our responsibility as voting citizens, is to vet out the candidates, to say, hey, we are holding you accountable as a representative of us to represent us, not represent yourself, but to represent us as the community in which you serve. Go ahead.
Hey, when you're done, I'm gonna respond to some of these comments.
Absolutely. So, you know, when we talk about understand your law, there's gonna be 50% of it because it's so elongated that you may not understand. So either do the research to get the understanding, or ask a credible individual. Keyword is credible. What does this mean? I understand all this, but I don't understand in this portion right here. You have to educate yourself. And yes, this is extremely boring. It would be nice if they made law so that it was a understandable version of it. But that's not how law was created. It's just not how it's created. Whether you look at city law, whether you talk about bylaws, no bylaws are super simple. They have to be elongated because they have to be specific. They have to be extremely specific. That's why they're elongated in most cases. And so, yes, there are layers. It's like peeling an onion back. The devil's in the details. So you have to understand the details to understand what you're fighting. You know, I've heard very few people. We've argued so much about the fact that so many bullets flew that a lot of people aren't even really talking about the body cam issue. The fact that we have no evidence. We are going off of hearsay for the most part. We have zero evidence. So why don't you go after the law related to body cams? That our body cam has to be on 24/7. When you're on duty, a body cam has to be on 24/7. Go after that. The sunshine laws, that's what that's called for you that may not know what that may look like in a law book. It's called sunshine laws. Sunshine laws, you know, certain cities have sunshine laws, and so officers don't wear body cams because it would be a violation of sunshine laws. So, you know,
there's no reason in no city, especially with everything that's going on. There's no reason why people shouldn't be attacking. Man, y'all better make sure. Y'all better make it. Y'all demand especially all that tax paying, all that money that they taking from the tax and whatnot.
Yep.
Body camps. It has to be.
Yeah.
That's just a given right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold your prosecuting attorneys accountable, because guess where that $12 million is coming from? You. That $12 million is coming from you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's not coming from them.
Yep.
It's coming from you as a tax-paying citizen. You have an obligation to make sure that these things are vetted out the right way. Otherwise, you're going to pay for it. So if you don't want to pay for it, then you have to be involved in the other processes. You can't just sit back and say, yeah, I don't quite agree with that, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let it be what it is. You can't do that. You can't do that, So it is incumbent upon us as citizens that we take accountability for the laws that govern us. It's because they govern us. It's our job, because like Corey said, they are our laws. You have a group that creates them and puts them into documentation, but we as people accept those
we as people we are the government.
Being okay.
We are the government. Yeah. If this is a democracy, like y'all keep saying it is, then we are the government, and that means it is your responsibility.
Well, that's what does it say? What does it say? We the people. We the people. Exactly. We the people. Like they're giving you free reign to ask questions on interpretation, to say, wait a minute, this isn't right. And I want to ask this question, Corey. I told you I was going to wait to ask this question until tonight. I want to ask people a question. If we have such a problem with the way that law enforcement is policing these communities, why aren't we stepping up and going to the police academy? Hell, do citizens academy. If you don't want to be a cop, do citizens academy. Go on a ride along with the cop. You know what I'm saying? Do things like that so you can have a better understanding of what the hell is actually going on. And again, hey, if you don't like the job they're doing, then why don't you replace them? Why don't you replace them? And I'm not talking just to black people, because there's white people that complain about the police too. There's Hispanics that complain about the police. Every race complains about the police. You have groups that do it. Why don't you go help them do their job? Either help them do their job or replace them and do their job for them. Do a better job than they can do.
And keep in mind, I know I can't speak for y'all. I'm pretty sure. Look, we for the most part here, we're totally against authoritarianism, and the police are just the government arm. They're the fucking arm. They're the strong arm for the government to do these different things. You know what I'm saying? Do whatever they want to do under the threat of incarceration, or they'll shoot you down. Absolutely. So we're not for this. I'm definitely not for this.
Yeah, and I want to go a little bit deeper. When I was talking about voting earlier, I want to dive a little bit deeper before we dig into the bag here. You got the biggest monopoly in the world right now. The biggest monopoly in the world right now is Republican and Democrat. They're a monopoly. Mm-hmm. Sides appear to oppose, and maybe in some cases they do with philosophy, but it's the biggest monopoly we have out there. So when you say, I would never vote a Republican in, I'm blue through and through, does that blue through and through stand up to what you asked them to do? Or did they not fulfill their promises either? Or vice versa. If you say, I would never vote a Democrat, I'm red through and through. Did those Republicans do everything that they said they were going to do? Are you holding them accountable for what they said they were going to do? Or is there a candidate out there that will do what he says he's going to do? Because really, we're not even asking for honesty anymore. We're not even asking for honesty. We taking the word of somebody that we have either no experience in how they operate, or we've seen them operate and they've done a shitty job, but we saying, oh, well, you know what? I'm not gonna make any changes. If anything, I'm just gonna go find another Democrat, or I'm gonna go find another Republican. I'm not really gonna vet out my candidacy.
We're also taking the word. We're also taking their word and then leaning back on convenience, like
Absolutely.
Leaning back on convenience. Everything is too convenient. We don't want to put in the work. See, a lot of the problem is we want everything handed to us. We want somebody to do this for us. We want somebody to do this for us, but we don't want to get our hands dirty. We want you to go
get our hands dirty
while we sit back and we play Monday morning fucking quarterback. It's just like, like fast food and different shit like that, and getting your
have it your way.
We don't give a fuck. They can tell us shit's in human meat. They've said there's human meat in different things. They told you stuff is processed. We don't give a shit because we want what we want and we want it now. We got to move on. We got to get to our jobs. We got to do some this and that. Some of us are just flat out lazy. We don't even fucking, we do the bare minimum.
We want instant gratification.
Instant gratification. Who's out there going out there and actually doing the slaughtering and going out there and getting their own meat and different things like that and having their own meals and getting that stuff prepared? The land is plentiful.
Yep.
So so all of these politicians, all they're doing is just capitalizing off this shit. And you know what? When you don't have that mindset, of, hey, I'm gonna cultivate and create my own. Now you throw, like I talk about the Constitution, the rule, because this is a democratic republic. Now you throw the rule of law that is not supposed to change under no circumstance. You throw that out the window now. Mm-hmm. Because you've been taught to be so lazy. You've been taught to depend on the same government who's supposed to be serving you, but you've been taught to depend on them.
Yeah, I don't think we've been taught to be lazy. I think that is the result of what has been created. I don't think we've been taught to be lazy. I think that's the result of having things handed to us.
Yeah.
You get lazy when you have things.
Good here. This shit is good. Yeah. I mean, it's convenient. I mean, everything is convenient.
Yeah.
Man, everything is right there at your fingertips, especially with phones now. It gets easier and easier. Mm-hmm. It gets easier and easier, and it takes people that further away from their own self-sufficiency because they're not putting in the groundwork. They're not getting their hands dirty.
Sure. Get into the bag, man. What we got in the bag?
So your brother, I don't know if he's still on. He had a couple questions. He said, look at history. Why do we expect a different verdict? We gotta we gotta take a look. Huh?
Here's why we expected a different verdict. Okay, because every once in a while they throw us a dog bone, and we do get the verdict that or something relative to what we expected to happen. Yeah. So we assume that, oh yeah, we moving the needle now. We're moving in the right direction, and so when they throw you a dog bone, yeah, you think you're good. You know what I'm saying? It tastes real good until the next time it happens and you get that shit sandwich again.
But even that, because like I said, a lot of this stuff is, mindset. Like I was like everybody else at one point, getting mad, angry, shit like that, and shit got to change. But I've come, over the years, you start paying attention, soaking in more information, and a lot of times we're just not, like I said, ad nauseum. We'll say it just over and over again. We don't even know our laws. So we're allowing shit to slip through. So we got to go back and look, even take a look at past verdicts and see what loophole did they throw in there that allowed them to get off. Case in point, I posted in this post. This was on the Word on the Av page. If y'all scroll down a little ways, you'll see this about the officer that kicked the man in the back over there in Sacramento. Now the man was not killed. The man was not killed. The man was not seriously harmed. But they kicked the man in the back because they were looking for somebody and they went to the wrong car. They went to the wrong car. So this man was completely innocent. And there was a complaint filed against the city and they wanted the officers charged. The officers were cleared of all charge. You know why? Because in the law book of that city, it says if there is no serious body harm or no death, then they're not liable for it. They kicked him in the back. He was complying and everything. Put his hands on his head, and they kicked him in the back and then tased him. And so if we're not doing so, it's stuff like that has to get changed. If you're not going in there, you're not taking a look at these things. This is how they put these little loopholes. That's why it's a collective effort, so everybody can it's a collective effort, so we can. But you
know what? People have the right to be mad. They have the right to be sad. You have all those rights because those are normal emotions. When death happens, the problem is that we allow those emotions to guide us to get the desired outcome that we're looking for. When we say that ain't right, we need to fix this. We allow our emotions to guide us instead of our logic. Yeah. So it's okay to be upset. It is absolutely okay to be upset. Matter of fact, if you're not upset, it's probably something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? In all honesty, if you're not upset, it's probably something wrong with you. But don't allow your emotions to guide where you're trying to go. Allow logic to guide you. Go ahead, though.
And second question, and I think we pretty much addressed that, is what can we do as people so things can change? Like I said, it starts with the groundwork that we got to put in and holding them accountable to each law and getting laws changed that we want changed within our city and exercising our quote unquote democracy. So we have to do that. So then now if we're not now they'll have no choice but to expose themselves if the system is corrupt as we believe it to be. You know what I'm saying? Kara Taylor Babcock says her family absolutely deserves closure. I lost my grandparents to a murder, and having a trial conviction was a huge step in helping us heal. I can't imagine how much more it would have hurt if that hadn't happened. Makes me so upset. I understand that.
So I want to touch on that for a hot second. Can we touch on that for a second?
Go ahead.
The family made a choice. They made a conscious choice to take a settlement. They had a choice to take it to trial. It wasn't that they didn't have a choice. I think 12 million sounded good. And I'm not saying that as a knock because 99.9% of us that will hear, hey, we'll give you $12 million would probably go away too. So I'm not going to act like they did something wrong, but the family did make a conscious choice to settle instead of taking it to trial and trying to fight. Now, maybe it was a financial thing. Maybe they couldn't afford to take it to trial. Maybe they couldn't, and if nobody decided to step up, whether albeit the, NAACP or any of those groups, if nobody decided to step up and say, we'll take this pro bono, maybe they didn't have another option. Maybe that was, well, not another option, but maybe that was the best option to take the settlement. Now, there is a level of irritation within a certain group that's saying, now they've sold out, and we don't know. Like one thing, if the case is closed, if the case is settled, let me be 100% clear about this. The transcripts need to come out. The details of the settlement need to come out because we need to know if this family is being quiet because that's what they signed up to do, or they're being quiet because they got paid and they're going away. The family deserves to understand more details now that there's been a settlement. Those things we should be screaming about. We should be able to see those transcripts. If they're saying, oh, nope, they private, we don't have to show that. No, we need to demand that.
That might break some of the. That's what happens.
Some confident, absolutely. And that, but you know what though? But you know what? If you tell me, well, unfortunately, we can't give out that information because that was part of the terms of the settlement. Then I gotta walk away.
Yeah,
I gotta walk away because they settled.
But Like a lot of shit happens in a lot of these lot of these downtrodden cities. You know what I'm saying? Inner cities, shit like that. So people are they need that money. They're looking at you talking about 12 million. That'll change a lot.
Yeah.
So
that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying.
99.9% of the time, it's gonna it's not even even out of the inner city. Anybody, 99.9% of the time, a lot of people are gonna say, okay, and I can say we can't even necessarily say they're wrong within that part, because they could probably take that 12 million and do something and do some good with it and make some changes. But get to a position to where they want to make some changes. So we don't know. It can go either way.
Let me be clear though, and I want to be 100% clear. I want to be 100% clear. I'm not saying that family has an obligation to do anything. I'm not saying that, because that would be very, very unfair of me to make a statement like that. But what I will say is we do need to be verbal about our intentions sometimes. Yes, we took the settlement and we're going to take this money and we're going to actually start fighting now. We're not gonna be able to fight for Bree. We're not gonna be able to fight for Breonna, but we're gonna go make sure this don't happen to little Bree. Like the family probably, like, I would have done it. Let me put it like that. That's what I would have done. If I would have took the settlement, I would have made a public statement. Yeah. Not that I took the settlement, but that these are the next steps. This is our family's next steps. Because now that they've gone radio silent, it does raise questions. Again, there's no obligation for them to do anything at all. They can take the settlement and ride out west for all intents and purposes. They don't have to explain it. But that's where, as a people that are dependent on the government when it comes to money, finances, lifestyle, and things of that nature, that's where things get extremely tricky for me to say, wow, they can just throw money at us. Doesn't matter the sum, but they can throw money at us and we go away. We literally go away and nothing happens. So we do have to be better about that. And I'm not calling the family out by any stretch of the imagination, but I am making a statement that says if you really want to create change, you go do it. Flat out. You go do it. So you don't allow anybody to stop you from doing that.
So what if
I wouldn't even, right at this point, like I said, because of the state of the nation, I wouldn't even put it on them to risk themselves and deny it so they can come out and say, hey, look at these details, they did this, because all it's going to lead to all it's going to lead to is more hashtags and everybody making a post about it. But you're not going to see no real action behind. You know what I'm saying? That they don't, you can't expect, them themselves, they probably not expecting any true action behind, you know what I'm saying? So this is what happened. Hey, there was something here, you know what I'm saying, within the details, and we can, that they're trying to hold back. They take that 12 million, they could probably make more in this climate today, they could probably make more of an impact. Depending on what they do with the money, they could make more of an impact with that money. That's why I'm not going to villainize them for taking that 12 million.
That's not what I'm saying. No, you missing.
No, I know that's not what you're saying. No, I'm just bringing up a different, a different look, a way to look at these things. Because, they've been getting demonized and different things like that. Some people look at that and say, oh, y'all took that hush money and stuff like that. It's like, well, if they hadn't, was you going to back them up? Was you gonna see it to it? Was you gonna get some crowdsourcing out and send them some bread? Make sure they all right to help them through this time.
So do you believe that they?
I got 5 on
it. What you say, Randy?
I said, do you guys believe that they can't use some of that 12 to fight the case, or do you believe that's possibly that was like written inside of the what's the name?
Oh, the case is over.
That would be double jeopardy.
Yeah, the case is over, and you yourself should not want. I know it sounds crazy, but you got to have foresight. You yourself should not want double jeopardy. You yourself should not want them to be able to go back and be able to fight the case and get a verdict that they want, because that'll, like I said, that'll bring in double jeopardy. And what type of precedent does that set? Because now they can do that for the police. You think they won't implement that onto the citizen? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They'll go right back. Like you done beat the case. And I'm like, no, we don't like that. We don't like that. We're gonna get somebody else and now try to charge them again. And they'll be at you forever.
And guess who gotta pay for that? Guess who gotta pay for that?
Yeah.
With the upcoming 28 to 31% taxes we gotta pay.
You said what?
I said with that new 28 to 31% taxes we gotta pay.
Yeah.
Yep. What else we got in the bag?
Oh, we just had a couple. I think that's about it. I know Kara was she was speaking on just kind of more just dealing with the trial and everything. She said, I wish more people thought that way, referring to when you're talking about the vote and the bipartisanship. Unfortunately, we mostly vote for the party without doing further research. That's exactly what we're saying. Yep. She said also trial is painful. Maybe they didn't want to see and hear the details over and over again. Yeah, there's all type of different reasons. We may never know. Let them grieve the way. Let them enjoy their 12 million. Let them enjoy their 12 million.
Can I hold 20?
Huh?
Can I hold 20, Taylor family? Can I hold 20? I see you my 20. Venmo.
Yeah.
Apple Pay.
Let them enjoy it. Let them enjoy it peacefully. It won't bring Breonna Taylor. You can never do those. You can never undo death. There's no true, even they get the killer away, there's no true closure, because that is gone. She's removed from their life forever. So, so they're, that pain never goes away. So, but hopefully this can, at the very least, the 12 million can make life a little bit easier. It makes it easier. So now, they do it right, spend the right way. We know a lot of people, they get money like this, whether it's lottery or through settlements like that. And then a couple years later, they right back where they were because they mismanaged their money and then capitalize off the opportunity. But it can, do what you do, make something happen, because it's harder to deal with a situation like this and you're in a state of poverty, you're in a destitute position. That makes it even harder, to deal with, and that's just the facts. That's just the facts right there. And man, let's make sure that this never happens. Shit's gonna happen, but it's about prevention.
Right.
About prevention. That's what everything's about. We can't sit up there and focus on, it can still happen, and or this and that. Like, it's all about prevention. That's what they play defense in the NBA for. They know they're not gonna stop every shot from going in, but you want to at least you'd rather have a guy shooting 29% than 55%. You know what I'm saying? So y'all got anything else? What do you say, Randy?
I was gonna just say, first and foremost, man, I want to thank everybody that's been rocking with us. You know what I'm saying? I know we all been doing things in the background and stuff like that, and doing stuff with our families and households and everything else. But I just want to thank everybody for rocking with us. And it is the fourth quarter. I hope everybody's well. Just let all y'all kids know that Christmas is canceled this year. But besides all that, yeah, man, I want to let everybody know I appreciate and love everybody.
Oh, good. You got anything before you want to go, Lauren? Let Randy close us out.
No, man. I just want to say again, I just kind of want to echo what we said. Do the necessary work that it takes to create change, and understand that when you think about the change that you're really trying to create, understand it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take work. It's going to take dedication. It's going to take some disappointment. It's going to be some highs and lows. but you have to stay steadfast to your end goal and what you're trying to accomplish. And maybe you don't see it through. Maybe you pass these things on to your children and your children continue to fight. And maybe they have to pass it on to their children's children. Because understand the things that we talking about going up against the things that have been uh, you know, they're it's like they're like regular main course meals in our society now. So if you think that the change is gonna happen overnight, it's not. The change I'm looking to see, I know I won't be around to see. I know I won't be around to see it. Unless they create, something that keeps me around for 150 years. I know I'm not going to see the end of what I want to see, but that doesn't stop me from beginning. It doesn't stop me from planting those seeds and imparting that wisdom so that when my time is up, somebody else can take the torch. You know, think about that. Don't expect microwave results. The food don't taste as good. Food tastes good when it's cooked the right way.
Mm-hmm.
We got to do it the same way here. So things are going to happen. More things are going to happen. We're going to have more casualties, more victims, but we have to stay focused on the end goal. Otherwise, there's no point in fighting. If you don't have an end goal in mind, there's no point in fighting. So stay steadfast to your work that you're trying to do. Hold your politicians accountable. Excuse me, hold your politicians accountable. And if they don't do the job that they said they were going to do, number one, call them out. Number two, find a new representative. Stay away from being forced to make a decision because it's the herd mentality, because everything starts out as a minority. Everything starts as a minority thought, just a little seed, and it grows and it grows and it grows. So the toxicity that you're seeing right now, all of the hate, the bigotry, the discrimination, all that started as something really, really small, and it just grew. So you can do the same thing in reverse. Find allies. Stop screaming about, the white man is the devil, because every white man ain't against you. Every black person ain't for you, or whatever race you are. The same rules apply. Everybody ain't for you. The people that you think are against you probably ain't against you. Learn how to build allies the proper way instead of destroying things because of a lack of knowledge or fear, because those things will destroy you. They will literally destroy you. It's time for us to rise up. It's time for us to be the change we want to see. And I mean that. I'm here for you. I got your back like a masseuse as long as you're doing something righteous. So keep it moving, people.
I ain't got nothing, man. Take us home, Randy.
All right, man. Thank you to everybody again, man, for rocking with all of us, man. I know everybody has things that they want to plug. Well, I at least want you guys to make sure. I want to make sure you guys plug your the upcoming things that you guys have coming. So I'll let Corey go ahead and plug your new YouTube channel and let them know what the new YouTube is about.
Man, just pay attention. Pay attention here on the word on the app. I'll post it on. It's the grit culture. Let's get some eyes on that. Get some eyes on the grit culture. Uh, please help us with please help us with our main page. Please help us with our main page, Three Pyramids Network. I think YouTube has got us on the block on there, shadow band. So we need y'all support. We need y'all help. Uh, Go to Grit Sports Media. I got some having a lot of good sports stuff on that page, man. And there's a lot, man. There's a lot of check out my video. I made a fun little video today on Grit Culture about the Tory Lanez situation. There's something to learn from that. And it's something that could be argued because my wife, she saw it and she had a different take, different from what I said. So yeah, take a look at it and let me know what y'all think. But other than that, I ain't got nothing else.
Wait, we got I just had an idea right there. But Lauren, I know you got some stuff cooking. You know what I'm saying? Plant them seeds, man.
Man,
What you got coming?
the only thing I'm gonna tell you about right now, because it's the most important thing, is the month of October. Stay tuned for the fatherhood. We'll be kicking off either October 4th or October 11th. It'll be my new podcast. I've been talking about it for a while. All things fatherhood. Corey made a statement earlier about the man being the head of the household. But there's much responsibility that comes with that title, so we'll be trying to, implant some wisdom, provide resources, this, that, and the third. So stay tuned, man. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be nice.
All right, man. So yeah, I heard my brothers, man. They, like I said, everybody's been working on stuff. I have a few things cooking in the pot, man. So if you've been paying attention, man, pull up on the Av. My interview series will be coming back. You know what I'm saying? Also, I have just other content for you guys coming. You know what I'm saying? So stay tuned. Make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe buttons on all the pages, man. We'll see y'all when we see y'all, man. We out. Peace. Love everybody.
Peace.